Mixed reactions pouring in today to a federal judge's ruling lifting the federal public transportation mask mandate. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Mike Montecalvo.
And I'm Shannon Heggie. The U.S. Department of Justice, however, could challenge the judge's ruling, and we'll have more on that in a moment.
In the meantime, virtually all of Rhode Island and Massachusetts modes of transportation have altered their regulations in response. 12 News reporter Brittany Schaefer spoke to travelers boarding planes, trains, and taxis today.
She joins us live now from Providence with what people are deciding. Brittany?
Well, Mike, Shannon, travelers do still have the option to wear a mask on most public transportation here in Rhode Island. And just 24 hours ago, I was live here at the Providence train station where masks were required. But now this afternoon, you can see there's an even blend of riders wearing masks and going without. The majority of planes, trains, and ride-sharing automobiles make masks optional.
They have it, that'd be wonderful, so you'll be safe.
The veteran cab driver tells me he's keeping his mouth and nose covered for now. Travelers like Niraja Aravamudan agree.
I'm going to be wearing a mask. I was on the airplane, and I'll be wearing it in my Uber as well.
The CDC agrees with the decision. They recently extended the mandate through May 3rd due to rising variant cases. But Monday, a federal judge voided that order, citing the CDC's ruling was, quote, not sufficient. Similar to the judge and CDC's differing opinions, many travelers today tell me they're excited to be mask-free, especially frequent flyers.
Welcome news for travel today. It's great. I'm thrilled to see people's faces again, smiles.
Starting today, masks are no longer required on Delta, American, Southwest, United, and JetBlue flights, along with Amtrak and MBTA trains, Ubers, and RIPTA buses. Aravamudan tells me some of her family members at home are immunocompromised. She says seeing her Uber driver today with the mask on was a relief.
I think in a small space it is a little more nerve-wracking, but I think as long as I'm masked, I feel like I'm doing what I can, and hope that other people will take into consideration not everybody has the doesn't have risk-free situations at home.
And the Biden administration says they are reviewing the Florida judge's decision with a possible appeal still on the table. For now, live in Providence, I'm Brittany Schaefer, 12 News.
First tonight, the CDC says it's still a good idea to wear them, but for the most part, masks are not required anymore when getting on a bus or a plane.
Many public transportation agencies are dropping their mask mandates following yesterday's ruling by a federal judge. Masks are now optional on RIPTA buses, and this afternoon, the MBTA announced the same for its commuter trains and subways. Ride-sharing services, Uber and Lyft, also say the mask can come off.
12 News reporter Brittany Schaefer has been talking to travelers today and has their reaction. Brittany?
Well, Mike, Shannon, most Rhode Island public transportation like Ubers, RIPTA buses, transit buses on airlines, in the MBTA, here at the train station for Amtrak, it is all now mask optional. Now here at the Providence train station, we have seen a good mix of people opting to keep their masks or go without. It's a pandemic age question, to mask or not to mask.
Thrilled. It's long overdue.
Frankly, I was a little disappointed.
But for the first time in 27 months, masks are now optional on most public transportation. A federal judge's decision has travelers in Rhode Island conflicted, even those who share a last name.
I use it because I have to, believe me, but I don't like to wear a mask.
I'm in the medical field, so I feel it's necessary still. I think you're putting people at risk. The numbers are already climbing as it is. So I think that, I think everybody should be wearing it.
The CDC agrees with the wife of the Warwick couple. The federal agency recently extended the mandate through May 3rd due to rising variant cases. But today, masks are no longer required on Delta, American, Southwest, United, and JetBlue flights, along with Amtrak trains, Ubers, and RIPTA buses. Some travelers saw a lot of change today, taking multiple forms of public transportation. Paul Fedoroff travels several times a month and tells me he went mask-free on his American Airlines flight and in his Uber.
Crossing the country is difficult in the mask. Yeah, it can suffer through an hour, but 5 hours is tough. Welcome news for travel today.
On the other hand, Niraja Aravamudan kept on her mask throughout the flight and in her Uber. She tells me her decision is for family.
I have family members that are immunocompromised, so it's, I think about the families that don't have access to being safe without other people taking care of each other. And so I don't know. I appreciate everybody wants to get on with life, but I don't know. I think the pandemic is totally behind us.
And the CDC is still advising people to wear masks when using public transportation. The White House has not commented yet if they are going to appeal that judge's decision. Live in Providence, I'm Brittany Schaefer, 12 News.
Masks are coming off at airports, train stations, and bus terminals the same week that many families are traveling with kids off from school. 12 News reporter Matt Paddock went to see how families are feeling about that. Matt?
I spoke with dozens of parents today about the lifting of the mask mandate. And between families traveling for spring vacation and a week away from school, their reactions were a bit mixed. You're watching the moment a flight attendant announcing mid-flight Monday that masks are now optional on Delta planes. And while that decision was met with both cheers and jeers, here in Rhode Island, parents are shifting their focus to the kids.
Very uncomfortable, like mad. I want my kids to be safe.
It's a personal choice. If you feel it's necessary to put the mask on, go ahead, put it on.
With a majority of Rhode Island school districts on spring vacation this week, some parents like Catherine Nova are worried about the return to the classroom after maskless flights or trips away.
We don't want our kids to come back home sick. It is very concerning.
Rhode Island Education Commissioner Angelica Infante Green weighing in during our 4 o'clock broadcast community focus segment and says Providence schools are prepared to return to the classroom.
One of the things that we did at Providence was that we sent home testing kits for the families to be able to test the kids the Sunday before they return from the vacation.
For parents like Hillary Davidson, they're just happy the decision is in their hands.
I can tell you what a difference it makes for children. Children need to be able to see the emotions of people. They need to interact with friends. If you're at high risk, I say absolutely put that mask on. If you're not at high risk, it's your choice whether or not you want to wear the mask.
Now, the Biden administration says they are reviewing the Florida judge's decision with a potential appeal still on the table. In the Tech Center, Matt Paddock, 12 News.